personal mindset shift help you break your own limitation?
I can do anything. And I've seen a lot of glass ceiling based on women. And growing up as a young girl, I didn't like that. And I'm a maverick. So when people say, oh, as a woman, you're meant to be a wife, a mom, I ask you, says who?
Hello everyone, my name is Monjola Bodunde and I'm a character development advocate. And today I am here with
Mary Fashanu.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And could you please introduce yourself to my viewers?
Yes, I can. So my name is Mary Fashanu, as I mentioned. I am a business strategist, workplace culture transformation strategist as well, and also a business consultant.
Wow. You do so much, but yeah, you always have a nice mood and you always lighten up the room.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But you have like a little secret on know how you just always have a good mood, because whenever I see your videos, you always just look so happy and smiling and it makes me happy.
Oh, I'm glad I make you happy. It's a God in me. That's how I said. That's number one. It's a God in me. And I think it's a natural thing as well. I'm naturally bubbly. And I have energy for this world. So even when I'm pulling down, but when I'm doing what I love to do, the energy comes out.
Yeah.
So that's just who I am, and God in me.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Okay, so can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. So my first question of today is: you speak often about being limitless.
Yes.
What personal mindset shift helped you break your own limitations?
Personal mindset shift would be, I can do anything. As a woman, I'm from African background, so I'm from Nigeria, and I've seen a lot of glass ceiling based on women. And growing up as a young girl, I didn't like that, and I'm a maverick. So I used to say I'm rebellious. I had to change the word to be very positive. So I'll say I'm a maverick. So I challenge the status quo. I ask questions a lot. So when people say, oh, as a woman, you're meant to be a wife, a mom, I ask you, says who? Why is it that that's all I can be? That's where that limitless idea or concept came from. As a woman, I can be all that I can be. Same, even man can be all they can be. Why can't a woman? We're all human beings, right? So I try to be an advocate for living limitlessly, not placing any limitation on ourselves. Because at the end of the day, culture, environment can say whatever they want to say, an expectation of women, but it's up to us individuals to accept that limitation. That's why I say it's in our hands to determine how we want to live, regardless of what our environment is saying, our culture is saying. So that is, if when people are not able to give me the answer of women are meant to be wives only or mothers only, and I ask you why, who says that, and they're not able to give me a response that I think is satisfying, I was like, well, forget you. I'm going to live my life on my terms, right? And I'm going to be all that I can be. Because the Bible also said, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So who are they to tell me I can't be more than a wife and a mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
I believe in everything you said. And that women, some people, they just see women as like, they should be wives or mothers. But we can do anything.
Yes.
We can do anything men could do, if not better. So
yes, we can.
So yes, thank you for
You're
answering.
most welcome.
My second question is: as a global speaker and strategy consultant, you've met people at many stages of their journey.
Yes.
What character traits do you constantly see in individuals who successfully transform their lives or businesses?
There are quite few traits, but a few ones that I can mention right now is determination. They're determined to make something of themselves, of the business, and they're also anchored in their why they're doing something, because your why helps you stay grounded. Your why helps you keep moving even in the face of adversity. So them understanding their why, determination, discipline, like that is key. Since I started working for myself, because I don't work for anybody anymore, just myself and my clients, of course. One thing I've noticed is when you work for someone, it's easy for you to get up in the morning, because you know that if I don't get up, I'm going to be sacked or query will be raised. But now I don't have to wake up because somebody is going to wait for me and ask me questions. I have to be disciplined, right? So I see people that are anchored in their why, they are determined, they are disciplined, and they're self-motivated. So they don't wait for someone to ginger them in a way. They don't wait for someone to push them. They push themselves, self-starter, self-motivator, and people that just have that strong belief in what they're trying to achieve. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I believe in what you're saying as well, that determination is the way to go, because if you're working for yourself, you have to be determined to, you have to persevere as well.
Yes.
Because if you don't, then there's no one waiting for you.
Yeah.
So you just have to do it and believe in what you're doing. Basically.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, I agree.
Okay, so my third question for today is, you've shared insights on scaling and mentorship.
Yes.
How can a young person, especially one without many resources, recognize when they're truly ready for mentorship and make the most of it?
Thank you for that question. I like how you said many young people that feel they don't have resources. And I will say that's the lie from the pit of hell. Like, a lot of people that think they don't have resources, but you have resources. You have a phone, for example. You have a laptop, you have iPad, you have tablet. Those are resources that can be used for whatever you're looking for, right? So how can they, make use of mentorship? How do they know they're ready to get mentors? So I always say, once you know you want to achieve something and then you're not sure how to get there, then that is a sign that you need to find someone that can help you. And always look for someone that has done it or is doing it, and then reach out to them to say, yes, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you help me? Can you support me in getting to where I want to get to? And how can you make best use of a mentor? This one is very interesting because a lot of young people, even adults, by the way, they can be time wasters. And mentors, we don't like time wasters because we're using our time to help you to get to where you want to get to, right? And so don't waste people's time as a young person. If you're serious about what you want to achieve and you've approached somebody to be a mentor, do not be a time waster. And also, time wasters also include them giving you something to do, to research on, or an assignment, and you being able to also stick to that end of the bargain. You as a mentee, stick to the end of your bargain, you delivering the work they've asked you to do, doing the research they've asked you to do, turning up on time. Even if you cannot make it, communicate, right? That's how you respect the person, the mentor, and you also respect, their time, even yourself as a person. So it's about showing up, showing out, doing the work, respecting the time. When you show up ready. So when I mentor people, I always tell them in our mentorship session, you are the expert because you're the one that knows what's going on in your life that you're bringing to the table, right? Come with an agenda. Come with what you want me to talk to you on. Come with what you want my expertise on. Come with what you want my insight on. So that way I believe you're ready for that conversation, for that session, right? So for me, making best use of a mentor is just being ready, show up, show out, ask questions, respect your mentor, respect yourself, respect time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You're most welcome.
I also want to add that I've got a few mentors.
Okay.
Yes. So, when I realized that I needed a mentor, is that I've got a Sunday class that I teach children every day at 4 p.m. about character development.
Nice.
So, when I was teaching them, I realized that I'm also a child.
Yes.
And while I'm teaching them, I also need someone to teach me.
Yes.
So I realized that I needed a mentor. So I want to give this example that the children I'm teaching, they're like flowers. Yeah. And I'm the watering can that waters the flowers.
Yes.
But soon the watering can will get empty.
Yes.
So the mentor is the water that fills up the watering can, so I can keep on teaching the children.
I really, really love the analogy, and I'm gonna use that at some point. If you permit me, so you won't sue me, right? I like that. And even having said, even though your question was about young people, seeking mentor, even as old as I am, in my old age, I'm not that old. I still need a mentor too, and I'm glad that you use that example of yourself. So as a business strategist, business consultant, I have mentors. I have advisory board members. I have financial mentor. I have business mentor. I have career mentor. So I have even religion, like faith.
Oh,
In my
yeah.
faith, I have a mentor for that. So it's very important that, like you said, when you're watering something, eventually the water gets empty. I mean, the watering can get empty, so you need to pour back into it, so you can be able to give from that well, right? So it goes for anybody at any stage, at any age. You have to keep fueling yourself so you can keep giving as well. So thank you for sharing that. I love that.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Okay, so my fourth question for today is entrepreneurship can be both exciting and overwhelming.
Yes.
What early habits or disciplines would you recommend to students who want to build confidence, resilience, and a strong sense of identity before stepping into leadership?
Again, my first thing will always be understand your why. Why are you doing this? Because the journey, like you said, can be overwhelming. It can be exciting, but yet there's some hurdles in that journey. And this is me speaking from 10 years plus of experience of entrepreneurship. You know, understanding your why matters because it's the bridge of when you're going through those hurdles, it carries you through. When you understand why you're doing it, you know that you cannot give up.
Yeah.
You can take a break, you can rest, but because you know that the life's waiting on me to keep pushing, I'm not going to give up. So understanding your why matters. So you get anchored in the why. The second thing is learning to be a self-motivator. You can't and I wrote a piece recently in my blog about what would you do if there's no accountability partner? Because these days everybody say you must have an accountability partner, and I do agree, but what happens when that partner is not available? Do you not do anything? What pushes you to do something? So you need to be a self-starter, self-motivator, and it goes back to your why. Because if your why is strong enough, you will not need someone to push you, right? So there's being obviously understanding your why, understanding that you're a self-starter, a self-motivator, and also being able to have a laser focus on what you're doing. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, there's a lot of noise on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever you are, right? And it's easy for you to get distracted by what somebody else is doing, what you're not doing, where you're lacking, where somebody's doing better than you. It's very easy. But when you're laser focused on your journey, because my journey and your journey be different, even if you're doing the same thing, very different, right? But imagine if I keep looking at your stories, your feeds, your whatever it is you're doing, I would then take my eyes off on mine. So everything I'm doing will not keep coming from, oh, what's Monjola doing? I'm going to combat that. But then you're leaving your calling, you're leaving your business too. And that's not a strategy. You need to be content with what you're doing, what you're giving, that even if Monjola is doing better than I am doing in this season, it won't take my mind off what I need to be doing. I'm laser focused, I'm content. Everybody has their own lane. If I keep looking at other people's lane, I'll crash at some point, right? So for me, it's being knowing what you're doing and being super focused on it. If you need help, get help. You can't do it alone. No man is an island. So in your journey of entrepreneurship, you cannot do it alone. So you need that kind of trait of being able to ask for help. Asking for help is not a weakness, it's a strength. I love asking for help. Oh God. What two people can do better than I can. 3 people can do better than I can. 3 heads are better than what they always say. Different innovation, different creativity, different ideas come into play into one. So be ready and open to ask for help. It's needed, it's necessary, not even for you, but for your audience who you're trying to serve in the community. So it's very, very important. I'm trying to think what I think. So we've talked about being self-disciplined, understanding your why, being self-motivated, being a self-motivator, self-starter, not being afraid to ask for help, being laser focused on your journey, and like we said before, seek mentorship as well.
Thank you for that.
Most welcome.
I really liked when you were talking about asking for help.
Yes.
Because some people, they feel like, oh, I don't want to ask for help because I'm scared they might judge me. But asking for help is the best thing you can do.
Yes.
Because so that you can gain from what you're needing help on.
Yeah.
So I know it might be scary asking for help, but you should do it because you'll gain a lot from it.
Yeah, and just to add to what you've said, and I do understand and I empathize with people that feel like they'll be judged, because there's a level of vulnerability that comes with you asking for help. But this is what I always tell my clients and anyone that gets to listen is flip the coin, right? Reframe your mindset in the sense that don't think about yourself anymore. Because we all go into business or ministry or purpose for whatever reason, right? We have particular people that we're meant to be serving. And there's a reason why God has called us to be those people that are serving them. So move the focus away from you and think about those people. Because if I get help and I become better, people that I'm serving becomes better. So it's not about me anymore. It's about serving the people I want to serve in the best way possible. So I will go ask for help. So now it's not about me anymore. It's not about whether people judge me or not. It's about I need to get further support that can help me help my customer, help my client, help people that I'm serving. Does that make sense? So when you have that mindset shift, then it takes the pressure away from me as a person. It then focus on what can I do to ensure that the people that I'm serving get the best possible. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're most
I really
welcome.
appreciate that.
No problem.
And for my last and final question, looking back on your own journey, what was a defining moment that shapes your character, not just your career? And how did that moment influence the way you now teach, lead, and empower people?
So this was, I think, not last year, was it? No, I think, last year, actually, 2025. So I like to do solo trips every year, and I do encourage everyone that gets to listen to do solo trips, both men and women, by the way. And I've been talking about limitless, being limitless. I even wrote a book about it called The Limitless You, which was launched in 2024. Now, I went on a solo trip in April last year during my birthday, and I was, again, going through this limitless mindset and all. And the defining moment, what happened was God ministered to me and gave me that passage, Philippians 4:13, I think. Don't quote me by that, right? But basically, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. So yes, I've been telling people to be limitless, and I've written a book about how they can be limitless in their career and business. But now God showed me that it's not in their power. So now my limitlessness is through Christ. And now when I talk about being limitless or living limitlessly, I attach God to it. And that helps me in the outlook of things. It helps me to extend grace. That, yes, some people may not know they're limitless yet, because what you don't know, right? And you can't do it better if you don't know. Is letting them know that, yes, you can be limitless, but not in your power. Because when we do things in our power, then we don't really fulfill the potential. Because there's a limit to what we can do as a person, right? But with God, when you see through the lens of God, then I'm more strengthened, I'm more empowered. Nothing becomes impossible for me. It may be hard, but it's not impossible. So I then teach from that lens, from that angle, with grace, with love, just to show people that it may be hard, but it's not impossible. And for them to know that them being limitless is not in their power. Because when you try to do it in your power, you struggle. But when you see from the lens of, you know what, I'm limitless through Christ who strengthens me. At times I can do all things, not some things, all things. And Bible did not say, what women can do or what men can. No, it's all things. Then people step into the power of Christ, into their power through the power of Christ, and they can achieve whatever it is they've set out their mind to do. So that was that change, that mindset shift that I have, defining moment about my limitlessness.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Your answers have been amazing, and I really enjoyed listening to them. And I've learned a lot of them, a lot from them. So I wanted to share with everyone what I've learned.
Okay.
So, for the first question that I asked about being limitless, you were talking about how women can do all things, and just like I'm going to say again, a woman can do anything. It can be anything.
Yes.
And it can do, and it can, let me just put my sentences together.
It's okay.
So you were talking about just being a woman, and people might limit you to only being a wife or a mother, but women are more than that, and it can do better than what people say they can do. So, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And for the second question, about being a global speaker and what traits you see in people that are successful. You said just determination, that if you're determined and you want to get to your goal, then you can do it if you're determined and if you persevere through all the obstacles, because there's no shortcut to success. So you'll always see an obstacle when you're trying to get to where you want to be. So you have to persevere and you have to be determined to get your goal.
Yes.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 3, when you were talking about mentorship and what I said about having a mentor, and just having a mentor to teach you and to empower you is really useful, because they teach you things and you can teach other people things.
Yes.
So everyone's learning in their own way. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Question 4, when we were talking about entrepreneurship and building confidence and resilience, you said we have to understand our why. And not giving up is really important, because if you give up too soon, then you won't know what you could have achieved in the future. So that's really important. And also that you can't do it alone, and you have to ask people, and because like I said, asking people can be scary, but if you ask, then you'll gain. So always try and ask people if you need help. So, and laser focus, like you said, just look at your goal and see how you can achieve it. So thank you for that.
You're most welcome.
For my final question, you said all things are possible with God, which is very, very true. And it may be hard, but nothing is impossible. If you try and try and try, and you try your hardest, then nothing is impossible. You can achieve anything you want with determination and perseverance, and God, obviously. So yes, and just having perseverance is really good, because I know it might be hard and your goal, it might seem that like it's far away, but really if you try your hardest, you never know where you could be tomorrow. You could be down here yesterday and up here tomorrow. So you always just have to try your best, and you'll see where it gets you. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for all your answers.
Of course, you're
I
welcome.
really enjoyed talking with you today.
Me too.
Yes. And you mentioned your book, so if you want, you can just tell people about your book.
Oh, okay. Well, so I wrote a book in 2024, and it's called The Limitless You. It is on Amazon. So just put my name, Mary Fashanu, on Amazon. All my books will come up, and there's a journal with it as well. But so Amazon, Mary Fashanu, The Limitless You.
Wow, thank you. I'll definitely have a read of that. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being here once
Thanks
again.
for having me.
You're welcome. And I'll see you next time. Remember, this is where the magic begins. Bye everyone.
Bye.